Okay, so we're going to start looking at our next topic, which is discounting, or part in chapter 10.2. But before I do that, I wanted to work through a couple of parts of a homework question. So in exercise 10.1, question 5, A and C was one of the ones that was set. The whole question was set, but I'm only going to do parts A and C. So let's work through that now. So after a fire, smoke damaged goods are sold at a markdown of 15% to clear stock. A, what is the marked price of a tracksuit with an original price of $175? So this time we're looking for marked down. So of course we would expect the value to be less than what we've started with. So in this case, our marked price is going to be the cost price minus the markdown, and we have to work out how much that is. So I'm going to do this in one step this time. So last time we were doing things in a couple of steps, but I'll show you a couple of different ways of doing this. So cost price is $175, and we want to take 15% of that $175 off. And remember, as a decimal, that's 0.15 times 175. That's what you need to put into your calculator. So it's going to be 175 minus 26.25, or in other words, $148.75. So that's one possible way of doing it. Or you could have also done it in the following way. $175 times 100% minus that 85%. So in other words, we want 85% of that marked price, the original price, because 85% is 15% less than where we started. So if you put 175 times 0.85 into your calculator, you would see that you would actually get the same amount. Okay, so it's not the same as working out 15% of 175. Anyway, yeah, so you need to work through those things. So there's a couple of different ways you could do it. Okay, part C. A jacket is marked down to $238. What was the original price? So in this case, we've been asked to find the original price. So we are going to take the markdown price, because that's what we have, plus we need to add 15% of that original price, because remember, a percentage works on different values in different ways, so we need to be working on the same amount, and that's 15% of the original price that we're working with here. So we need to get this equation to the point where there's only one unknown. So what we're going to start with is 100% of our original price. That's what we want to find. Equals 238 is a markdown price, plus 15% of that original price. So you can see the way I've rewritten that statement is the only unknown in there is our original price. Now, yes, it is on both sides of the equation, but we can collect those because they're like terms, so we can put them together. So to get the 15% of the original price on the right-hand side together with the 100% of the original price, we just need to take 15% away from both sides. So what it will look like is then is 100% minus the 15% of the original price. Now, of course, you could write this out longer, but there's no real need. 238, which means 85% of our original price equals that 238 that we now have. So what we need to do is we need to do the opposite to the term that's already there. 85% times the original price, so we need to divide both sides by 85% to get the original price on its own. So the original price equals 238 divided by 85%, which equals 238. Convert that to a decimal, 0.85, so you can put it into your calculator, which equals $280. We would be expecting an amount here that's higher than the marked down price. So 280 is higher than 238, so it's something we would expect here. Hopefully that makes sense. Please see me if any of that does not. Okay, so let's move on to today's work, discounting. So again, there's some terms we need to work through. There's a couple of different things of discounting this time. So there's going to be 2 screencasts because there's a little bit in it. So some vocab you need to know is list price or recommended retail price. So I told you about that in the last lesson. Recommended retail price, RRP, list price, they're all just the prices that the manufacturer thinks the business should be charging. Doesn't necessarily mean that they will. Then there's something called trade discount. So trade discount is something that manufacturers offer to wholesalers or stores that buy a lot of their stuff. So they offer a discount off the recommended retail price so that the store who's buying it and is then going to sell it on to the end user pays less than the recommended retail price, so when they sell it to their end user at the recommended retail price, they'll make some money, because if you don't make money, there's no point in being in business. So that's what trade discount is because you're in the trade of selling whatever that product is. There are other discounts that are often offered to make it even more attractive for different things. So often a manufacturer will offer another discount, and it's often expressed as a fraction on the invoice, and we'll go through what those mean in a minute. And it's a discount so that they get paid quickly, for example. The quicker they're paid, the quicker the business can use that money to turn around and go and do something else with it. So businesses are very keen to get paid for whatever they sell as fast as possible, because maybe it means they can buy some new stuff, new goods, and sell it on, or maybe it means they can pay off debt that they've got, or they could earn interest on it. So there's lots of reasons why they would offer it. It also means they don't have to spend more money chasing customers to get their payments in. So other discounts, often called prompt payment discounts, to be paid quickly, promptly, are offered, and they're written in these types of ways. So here's an example. 5/10 means that the customer will get another 5% discount if they pay with the invoice within 10 calendar days from the invoice date. N/30 means that no discount is offered, but they must pay the invoice within 30 days. And if they don't, the business is going to start chasing them and they could get extra costs involved. Now, the businesses choose this themselves. There's lots of other ways they could write it, but the first part of the fraction means the discount. The second part of the fraction means how quickly it has to be paid to get that discount. And if you remember that should cover pretty much everything. Okay, let's work through this example that we've got here. So, All Pro Sports Goods Shop orders 20 tennis rackets, which are invoiced to the shop as shown. So this little example is the top of an invoice. So Smash Hit Rackets is who it's been invoiced to. The date's the 25th of August 2008. Smash Hit Rackets is who it was invoiced by. That's the supplier of the rackets. Invoiced to All Pro Sporting Goods, as it says in the question. They got tennis rackets, 20 of them. They cost them $65 each, which means a total of $1,300. And there's some terms or discounts or payment information, all those things mean the same thing, listed down the bottom here. So let's just quickly write what this means. So 3/10 means if you pay within 10 days, 10 calendar days, remember, you get 3% discount off the bill. And N/30 means must pay within 30 days. 30 days is a really common time frame that customers have to pay for their invoice within. And it means they can keep their money in that time frame and do whatever else they want with it. So must pay within 30 days, but no discount is offered, which is pretty standard business. Okay, how much is due if the invoice is paid on the 3rd of September? So the 3rd of September, is how many days after the 25th of August. You're going to count that up. In this case, that would be 9 days. You need to know how many days in a month there are. There's 31 days in August. So that would be all of those days, and the 3rd of September is 9 days. So 9 days after invoice date. So because it's 9 days, which is within the 3/10, 3% discount applies here. So we need to work out how much that is. So I'm going to calculate 3% of $1,300, which is 0.03 times $1,300, $39. Okay, so, but it wants to know how much is due. That's the discount. Now I'm going to calculate the amount. AMT, by the way, is a very common abbreviation for amount due. So $1,300 was the invoice total, minus the discount. $1,261 is the amount due. Of course, you could deduct the 3% discount in a similar way to the question we did in the first, at the start of the lesson. 100 minus the 3%, which is 97% of the invoice. That would give you the same answer. So yes, you could also do it that way. 0.97 times 1,300, 1,261. Both would work. Let's do part B. How much is due if the invoice is paid on the 14th of September? Now, the 14th of September is 11 more days after it. So we've got, oops, let's just do that. 14th of September is 9 days plus another 11 days. So that is outside the amount. Therefore, the full amount of $1,300 is due. As 20 days after invoice date. Therefore, no discount. Okay. Now, C, what is the last date for payment? So the last date for payment is 30 days after the 25th of August, equals last payment date. So, if you're not sure how to work that out, one way you could possibly work that out is if it was sent on the 25th of August, then work out how many days till the end of that month. 31 days in August, 25 away, so there's 6 days left in August, which means that we want 24 days in September because 6 plus 24 equals 30. So the invoice will be due for payment no matter what by the 24th of September. So obviously if you understand months and things, you may not need to show any working at all, but if you have a little bit of trouble, please use this type of thing. Okay, I'm going to finish this screencast here and I'm going to do a second one for the second part of the lesson. Okay.